judge me by my looks.
I'll be honest, I came into Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 expecting to hate it. Simply looking at screenshots of the original game about 4 years ago was enough for me to decide that I didn't want to play it. However, Idea Factory recently announced that they would bring the remade version from the PlayStation Vita to the PC. I'm all for Japanese RPGs making the jump to my platform of choice, and after enjoying Fairy Fencer F, I decided I'd try the game that it borrowed so heavily from. As this is a PC port, I first want to briefly go over what you can expect. If you'd like to skip over the PC specifics, feel free to click the annotation below or skip ahead manually. In the video config screen, you only have the option to change your resolution and if you want to have full screen on or off. If that wasn't bad enough, the resolution you choose will only go into effect if you run the game in a window. If you choose full screen, the game will use your desktop resolution instead, up to 1600 by 900. If you'd like to use a higher resolution, however, there is a fix provided by Durante on his website. You can choose whichever resolution your graphics card supports. This means you can play in full screen with a lower resolution, or you can use it to downsample from a higher resolution. I've provided a link to Durante's website in the description below. Keep in mind that this fix will require more CPU power though. You'll also need to be sure to manually change what control method you want to use. The game will not switch on the fly if it reads a controller or a keyboard command. Luckily, the keys can be remapped however you'd like. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 is a remake of the first game in the series. While I've never played the original, it is to my understanding that there have been vast improvements made this time around. Visuals, music, plot, characters, dungeons, the world map, combat, and various other systems have been reworked or added to the game. I can't really go into the specifics of each change personally, but I can at least show you what the game has to offer this time around. The game takes place in the world of Gamindustri, a land divided into 4 regions. Each country has a goddess, also known as a CPU, that they worship. Above the land in Celestia, the 4 goddesses fight one another in what is known as the Console War. During the war, one of the goddesses named Neptune is defeated and struck down to the lower realm where the humans live. Having lost her memory in the fall, you play as Neptune as she explores Gamindustri. As you can probably tell, Neptunia Rebirth doesn't exactly take itself too seriously, which may well be my favorite part of the game. Most of the important characters are named after or are references to gaming consoles or companies, along with tons of other gaming references scattered throughout the dialogue, enemy designs, items, and NPCs. It's easy to see how this could become overbearing, but for the most part, I thought it was well done. The story is presented with a visual novel motif. Slightly animated portraits will be displayed as you either read or occasionally listen to the characters converse with one another. The localization can be hit or miss in spots, but it's mostly fine. The English voice actors also do a fine job with what they're given to read, though if you prefer, there is an option for Japanese voices. As with before, the dialogue doesn't take itself seriously either. Neptune will often break the fourth wall or interrupt a moment that gets too serious with something obnoxious. I find it refreshing to play a game that doesn't take itself too seriously, though I can see how it wouldn't be for everyone. When you're not in a conversation, you'll either be on the world map or in a dungeon. From the world map you have access to a variety of different places. You can visit the towns to shop, grab and turn in quests, or see what the NPCs have to say. The shop is what you'd expect. You can buy or sell items, weapons, armor, and cosmetic outfits for your characters. The guild offers quests for money and items. Each quest will also raise and lower a CPU's shares across Gamindustri, making that particular goddess stronger or weaker in combat. When you speak with the NPCs, they'll often give you advice or a plan, which is an item that allows you to alter parts of the game. The remake system allows you to use these plans to do things such as change the items a dungeon has, make monsters harder or easier, add new monsters to a specific dungeon, or even add entire new dungeons to the map. You'll also be able to create new items that you can buy from the shops. Before making your way into a dungeon, there are a few things that you need to take care of. First, you'll want to check out the disk dev. Here you'll combine disks with idea chips that you've gathered. These chips provide bonuses such as increased defense from specific types of enemies, recovering health after each battle, or adding status effects to your normal attacks. Once you make the disc, you can equip it to one of your characters. You'll then want to set up your combos for each member of the party. Once you decide which target you want to attack in battle, you'll have the option to choose which type of attack you want to follow up with, which you'll set here. Every attack has different properties and CP costs to equip. If you're fighting a lot of robots, for example, you may want to set up a combo that does a lot of electric damage. You also have the option to set up your EX finish attacks. We'll go over each type of attack in a bit, but you'll want to keep your combos up to date as you learn new moves throughout the game. When you have more than 3 members in your party, you can assign the extras as partners. Partners provide bonuses to the members that they're assigned to, based on how much they like each other. Having Compa as Neptune's partner, for example, provides magic resistance as well as reduced SP costs for abilities. She'll also provide a new combo that Neptune can equip. Finally, you'll want to set up a battle formation. This dictates where your characters will position themselves when a battle occurs. Finally, we're prepared to enter a dungeon. Unfortunately, the dungeons in Neptunia Rebirth are probably the weakest aspect of the game. They get the job done, but they're very straightforward and you'll be required to revisit them time and time again. As you explore, you'll find items laying on the ground that you can pick up. Each dungeon also has a secret item that you'll be required to use treasure search to locate. This means spamming the button until you find it, which can be fairly annoying. Other than that, your other actions are jump and an attack.
Whoa, what's this?
To initiate combat, you can either run up to an enemy or press the attack button to gain the first move. Be careful though, if you're touched before the animation completes or you're caught from behind, the enemy gains this advantage. Combat takes place in an enclosed arena. There are barriers around the outside that limit the battlefield and provide you with the chance to escape if you require it. In this game, you can attack every enemy within your attack range, so positioning is key. The enemy also has this advantage, so you'll want to spread out while keeping your spellcasters just far enough away to be out of harm's way, but still be able to provide support. Once it's time to attack, your combo options that we've set up earlier come into play. You'll notice the enemies have an HP bar for their health and a GP bar for their guard. Drain the target's health and they'll be defeated. However, the GP bar serves to protect their HP bar. This is where the break combo comes in. Most of these attacks do weak HP damage, but they do a lot of guard damage. You'll use these attacks to cause a guard break. When an enemy's guard is broken, they'll take additional damage to their health. This is where the power combo comes into play. These attacks do poor damage against guard, but they do a lot of health damage. In longer fights, you'll notice that enemies regain a bit of their GP each turn, so you'll want to balance your combos to cause the most damage possible in any situation. Some of these attacks may even have a chance to cause a status ailment, so you'll want to keep those in mind as well. The final combo type is Rush. You can see the EXE drive gauge has multiple sections to it. Rush attacks are generally weak, but they're used to increase this gauge quickly. Once a section is filled, you'll have access to your EXE finish attacks in your combos. These are essentially free hits at the end of your combo. The gauge persists as long as you don't leave the dungeon, so try and build it quickly and you can focus on more damaging attacks more often later. Eventually, you'll acquire moves that allow you to spin the EXE drive gauge as well. Outside of your basic combo attacks, you have SP skills. These will consume a bit of your SP bar to use a powerful ability or to cast a spell. If the character is a CPU, they can activate their HDD, greatly increasing their stats. This will cost 20% of their max SP, however, so it's not to be used carelessly. Finally, if your character has a partner assigned, you can choose to switch them around, placing the partner in combat instead. Combat can be fun or just a chore as you grind for items and experience. Luckily, you can skip all of the animations in combat if you prefer, making grinding a bit more tolerable. You'll frequently be going back to the same areas, so this helps to speed things along. The game can also have difficulty jumps. Early on, I recommend grabbing a few life rings, as they about double your health, and when healing is based on a percentage, they help to preserve your SP as well. Keep in mind, you can use the weakened enemy plan too, if you want to go that route. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 may not set the world on fire, however it's a nice addition to the ever-increasing JRPG catalog on the PC. The port leaves a lot to be desired though. I hope that the second game improves upon that. There's also a bit of DLC available, a lot of what looks to be like in-game content with a few characters thrown into the mix. A few free downloads are available as well. It's worth noting that the game is 50% off until February 5th, when the price will jump up to $30. I can easily recommend it at $15, but $30 is a bit much to ask for unless you know what you're getting into.
Compared to that 10,000th floor last tower, this is a bit better, I guess.